Hey everybody, how you doing? We're doing our recap as per usual today. Today was a grind, man. Today was really, really tough trying to get anything going. It was just one of those days where there was no momentum. It's funny, yesterday, I would say the watch list that I had put together was much weaker and it had much better moves. Today, I felt like, hey, there's going to be a lot of opportunities and there's going to be some potential there, but everything was kind of just grinding along. There was no real solid moves, or moves that were generally expected, except for um, Airbnb was definitely one of them that I had on watch, and I was thinking that had potential to make it a decent move, and TDOC as well. And so I traded both of those. Um, but it was like I said, because it was moves that were being made that weren't breakout points that I was really, really confident in. It was difficult to manage, and it was difficult to put price targets on and check support levels for a stop or resistance levels, etc. Anyways, obviously I had a green day today, 370. I think I'll probably end up with maybe, I don't know, 325 in profits after um, the short fees and the commissions. So not a huge day, but it's another green day, and we talked about that's just the consistency, and we're inching towards where we were in the midpoint of last week. This one, I don't have it drawn out anymore, but there was overhead resistance on the, actually, sorry, I do. So we see this overhead resistance on the daily chart, and it was coming right into that at the open. So I was actually watching this for a fade. It had gapped up and started to trend downwards. So I was looking for a fade below 190 at the open. I did that. Unfortunately, I didn't get my fill right at 190. It moved so quick. It ended up dropping down to 186. So if I had got my fill initially at 190, I probably would have been out with some profit. It did pop back and get bought up very, very quickly. You can see that here on the 1 minute chart, right? So you can see the dip here, right? Dipped right down to 186. This is, first minute of the day, first couple of minutes, and then boom, it gets bought back up. So I actually didn't get filled initially, and I chased it a little bit on the way down because I was thinking that this could potentially roll over quite a bit. But because, like I said, it had that where I got filled in between. I think I got filled at like 187. So, it was like it was already on its way down, and I chased it a bit, and then it got bought back up very quickly. But I was thinking, we might see this, start to trend down to 184 or something like that, and I can get a couple hundred points, or a couple hundred points. That would be nice. A couple $100 with a couple points in there. So that didn't work out. You can see that it reversed all the way up, hit $200 basically, and then it's trended back down towards the rest of the day. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I think over the next couple of days, I wouldn't be surprised to see it trend sideways and not really be able to do much momentum wise because of that ascending resistance. Ascending resistance is one of the hardest ones to break through. So this might have killed this momentum for a bit, but we'll see. And I don't really care because I, analyze things on a day-to-day basis, right? So um, we traded a few other ones today, like I said, Airbnb. So I took my first entry here at 127. And if you pull this out again, right, um, on the 5 minute chart here, right, it's a big move. 5 minute chart, right, from 124, 125, the low, to 129 in a 5 minute candle. So that's a big move, right? 4 points in 5 minutes. And so like I said, and there wasn't a lot of momentum I was seeing elsewhere um, in the market in terms of the SPY and alignment within the market. So I saw that moving up, and I had a couple points, and I took it. Right, I was like, okay, fine. Like I already had the BIDU trade, so I'm like, what? Let me get back some profit that I gave away early this morning. And you look at it, and it just ran straight up, man. Like, I will say that maybe about here, if I had held it longer, to 134 from 127, right? So again, hindsight is always 2020, but the move was the analysis was right. See, so I looked at we have the IPO. That's why there's not a lot of price action here, but it had base sideways essentially all day yesterday, and then it started to move up a bit in the pre-market. Right, it came up to this 127 level, which was a similar pivot here, 127 47, and pulled back. Right, so we see 127.25, 127.41. Right, so we see that's an area of resistance. Right. And so I, pulled back from there, and then it opened and pushed through that and went right up. So I didn't expect it to run that far. When you've got resistance here, and it just paid it no mind and continued higher and pretty much closed the gap up to here at 139. That's where it's at right now. So yeah, that was Airbnb. And what else did we trade? We traded TDOC. TDOC was a nice trade. That was another one I was watching at the open. So it had a gap down. The only thing I didn't like about this one was there wasn't a great window on the daily for me to look at. There was some range here. So we see 182, it dropped to 181.15. So I got short here as it broke pre-market lows. Like I said, it dropped to 181.33. I exited for my price target about 182 from the lows at, I think I got in at 184.99, something like that. So a couple of points on that. I took profit on the way down because I didn't want this to reverse, and it was moving a little bit slower sideways. We can see consolidation, and then a drop down. And yeah, so those were a couple trades that I made, and this is a short trade, right? I said I wanted to implement more of those short-sided trades, and I do feel more comfortable with those. I find selling volume to be a little more consistent in the moves, unless when there's buying coming in and getting bought up, you can kind of tell those levels which are going to hold and which aren't going to hold, in my opinion, from a short side. I see those things much better. So yeah, like I said, it was an okay day, but I feel like I really had to fight for my profit today in comparison to some other days. And I did mention, we're getting closer to Christmas, right? I feel like volume was pretty light today, and that's probably going to continue in a trend of, as we get closer to Christmas, there's less traders in the market because people are, doing other things, and people aren't working. So, there's less volume in general, and that causes the moves to be less momentum based, and which is what I like to trade. So I'm probably going to have to be mindful of scalp trades. And, like that's another reason why on Airbnb, why I was thinking, there's no way we're going to make a 8-point move, 10-point move, whatever, on this ticker, because, we're not in a position, and the stock itself, it isn't really in a position to make that move. Right. And that's another reason why I took the profit instead of holding on to it. Because the worst thing is when you hold a move and then it comes back and you have to take a loss or exit break even when you got the analysis right on the trade. Right. So, like I said, in general, it was an okay day, but, not as easy as I would have liked. I'm definitely feeling it mentally fatigued today as well. Didn't really sleep as much, and sleep is obviously really important to how sharp you're going to be, I find. So we're going to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I would really like to get a couple more green days to finish this week. if I could come back from last week and having what happened last week and finish with a full green week, that would be absolutely fantastic. All right, so I just got to add quickly. I just took another trade. I noticed that BLNK was moving up a bit, and I had this kind of plotted out as a potential move. So it was only $50 difference I made on the trade. I wanted definitely more than that. This might end up going. It's been kind of a tricky trader today. So my goal was this break of 31 would end up heading towards 3150. I will be surprised if it doesn't hit 3150, but this has been really difficult with double top. So I've seen the double top here at 3125 and start to pull. I've already taken a little bit of profit at 3124. So I didn't want to get caught in the drop, especially after I'd already started recording and all that stuff. That would have really bothered me. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this runs heavily. I am in it on a swing trade as well, though. My entry was down at near $30. So I'm okay with, just letting this go and taking the $50 and keeping my green day rather than giving back $150, right? I can just let the swing trade let itself work itself out in the long term. But anyways, I just wanted to add that in so that it's not like, well, how does this guy have randomly, another $50 profit, right? So, yeah. So I just want to add that in. Quick trade there, but that'll be it for today. All right, let's get it tomorrow.